Let's start with that junk drawer that's basically a black hole for lost screws, expired coupons, and where one pair of scissors can magically multiply into a whole craft store.
Welcome to the Far More Podcast.
I am so glad you're here today because I have a great episode for you. Hi, I am Liz Brock, co-host of the Far More Podcast, and please don't judge me, but decluttering is actually a favorite pastime of mine, and I'm not even kidding. Just ask my husband. Wait, don't ask my husband because I tend to, quote unquote, accidentally get rid of things that he later goes looking for. We laugh about it often. And by we, I mean me. He doesn't really laugh about it. But seriously, decluttering is my favorite because every time I do it, I just immediately feel a sense of peace and calm and this just a sense of accomplishment. And here's the thing about it. It really doesn't take that long to fill a box full of stuff you don't need and to haul it off. Where most people get stuck is the decision-making process. Should I keep this? What if I need it later? Do I throw it away or do I give it away? And you have to decide this over and over and over again. And you finally reach the point where you just give up because it's taking so long and your brain is just exhausted from trying to figure out if you really should hang on to that rice cooker that's been sitting in the cabinet for the last 6 months untouched, or the ShamWow that you bought in the middle of the night because of some infomercial to make car washing easier, but it's still in the garage in its original packaging. So if you don't have a system in place to make these decisions quicker and easier, decluttering will just be this pie in the sky dream that never comes to fruition. So today, I'm going to help you. I'm going to share with you what I do, and hopefully it will help you to begin your journey to finding some freedom in the simplicity of having less stuff. So I don't know about you, but for me, a cluttered space tends to lead to a cluttered mind, and I have so much trouble focusing when everywhere I look, I see clutter, when I see stuff. And maybe it's the same for you, or maybe it's that way for someone else in your house, and you do want to give them a space where it's like a sanctuary for them, just like it can be for you. So what do we typically do? We try to organize the clutter. But here's the thing. Decluttering is not organizing. And organizing is not decluttering. It's not putting your stuff in order or cleaning it up to make it look pretty. I think that's where so many people miss the magic. Because if you organize before you declutter, it probably isn't going to last to the end of the week, right? Like it may only last a day or two, and before you know it, bam, clutter again. And why does that happen? It's because you didn't declutter before you organized. We don't need to keep all of our stuff down here on earth. God even tells us in His Word, do not store up treasures here, because in the end, you know just as well as I do that we cannot take a single scrap of it with us. We just don't need to hang on to everything. And if you've struggled with organization in the past, like I have, it doesn't mean that you're lazy or messy. Now, maybe you are. That's for you to figure out. I don't know. But more than likely, you're not. You just have too much stuff to manage. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 6 tells us that there is a time to keep and there is a time to cast away. So it might just be time to cast away some stuff. So to give some stuff away, to throw some things away, to make it easier to organize the space. Because think about it. If you only have 10 plates and 5 cups, you can organize your kitchen cabinet pretty quickly. Am I right? Now, I understand that that may seem like an extreme example, but I'm just trying to get you to start imagining your house and your space with less and how much easier it is to manage less. This is that whole less is more that I'm talking about in the title of this episode. Less stuff gives you more time. It gives you more space. It gives you more peace. It gives you more calm. So how do we do this? How do we start? Step 1 is to set clear goals. Now, Jason, if you are listening to this episode, I hope that you're so proud that this is step 1. For those who don't know, I have such an aversion to setting goals, and I don't know why. I think it's because I love to do activities. I am not really a goals type person. I love to just do things instead of setting goals. And so he's always encouraging me to set these goals. And so hopefully if he's listening, he's like, oh, maybe it's starting to sink in a little bit. Okay, so number 1, I digress. Set clear goals. What do you want to achieve by decluttering a certain space? Are you looking for more space? Are you looking to improve your organization, or do you want a more peaceful environment? Or do you want to cut down the clutter so that you can decrease the time it takes to clean and organize your space? So, personal story. One of my sweet children loves stuff. She just does. She just loves stuff. But what she doesn't love is how long it takes to clean her room every time she wants to go to a friend's house. So she has actually begun to declutter her space. I feel like she's doing this often on her own, once every, 4-5 months. And now don't get me wrong, she still has quite a bit of stuff, but we have given away and thrown away very large bags of stuff. And I want to teach my kids not only how to cull down, but I also want to teach them that it's just stuff. I don't want them to have these unhealthy attachments to things. And so we often go through the practice, and I let them see me often go through the practice of getting rid of stuff and throwing away of stuff so that we're not forming these unhealthy attachments. So next, I want you to choose the area you want to focus on. Is it a closet, a desk, a specific room? Now, hear me very carefully. If it's your entire house, I highly recommend you choose one small area at a time. Don't try to tackle the whole thing all at once, or you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're going to quit before you really even get started. And so step 2 is we sort. We're going to use the 3-box method. And I bet you've heard of this. This is nothing new under the sun. It's just sometimes we need the reminder. So your 3-box method, your first box is going to be the keep box. The second one is going to be your donate/sell box. And then the last one is going to be your trash box. Now, this is one of my favorite steps because it's when you begin to see some real progress happening. Unless, of course, you're a bigger fan of the keep box than you are the other two. But really, the keep box should be for the things you use regularly and that you truly need. So ask yourself, do I use this? Would I buy it again? Do I think I'll use this in the next month or two? If the answer is yes, put it in the keep box. But if it's no, and the item is still in good condition, put it in the donate/sell box. And if it's not in good condition, you just put it in the trash box. It seems pretty easy, right? Now, quick side note about the whole selling portion of this. If you know yourself pretty well and you know that it's going to take you weeks to actually post that thing on social media or wherever else it is that you're planning to sell it, please just donate it, because the last thing you want is to create a different pile of clutter in the garage or the attic or wherever it is that you're going to hang on to this stuff until you sell it, all in the name of, but I'm going to sell it and I'm going to make money. listen, if it's just going to create more clutter, just donate it. Now, sometimes we can get very overwhelmed by this process. It has happened to me. It's happened to you. It's happened to my children, especially the one that I mentioned before who loves stuff. So here's what you do. Here's one of the things you can do to combat that feeling of overwhelm. Set a timer to keep yourself focused. Just set a timer for each area that you're working on. And as long as that timer is going, you are working. Leave your phone on silent in another part of the house so that it does not distract you. Or if, like most people, your phone is your timer, turn off the notifications so that you don't hear any dings or pings and you don't get sidetracked. So now that we have our 3 boxes, 2 of which are likely full and 1 that isn't because you did such a great job of not filling your keep box, take the trash box to the trash immediately and take the donate box to your local giveaway place as quickly as you can. Do not hang on to these things for very long because you know just as well as I do, you're going to walk past that donate box and you're going to be like, maybe I actually will use that in the next year or 6 months. And you're going to take it out of that box. You're going to put it in the keep box. You're going to clutter up your space all over again. And we're going to be back to square one. And then as for your keep box, think about using bins or baskets or shelves to organize them. So I know this seems like a lot. So let's talk about how to stay motivated. Motivation is, it's all about the mindset. So let's get our minds right and let's go over some steps on how we can stay motivated during the process. Start small. That's step number 1. I touched on this a little bit already when I said avoid trying to do the whole house. Just tackle one small area at a time, like a drawer or a shelf. Like, that's a very small space. Don't even start with a whole room. Start with one little drawer, one little shelf. This will make the task less overwhelming and it allows you to see quick progress, which often boosts motivation because you get such a quick hit of dopamine because you accomplished something in such a short amount of time. So start with those shelves, start with those drawers, and don't move on to the next one until you're finished with the first one. Step number 2 on how to stay motivated, set clear goals. So what I didn't mention earlier was to visualize your end. Close your eyes and just imagine what you want your closet to look like when you're done. Visualize the end goal, and this is going to help you. This is going to help keep you motivated because you're going to be able to visualize what you want it to look like. Number 3, make it fun. Listen to some upbeat music, or if you're anything like me, you love podcasts. So listen to your favorite podcast or an audiobook, and hopefully this will make it feel less like a chore and just more like a fun, rewarding experience. And last but not least, if you're a part of a family, like if you have a spouse, if you have children, if your mother lives with you, if your father lives with you, if you have roommates, get these people involved in the process. So I have 3 kids, 2 of which seem to accumulate more stuff than the third. So sometimes it helps to turn it into a game or a competition. Siblings seem to love competition. Like, does anybody else feel me on this one? So anything that can be turned into a competition, do it. And tell them that whoever can pick up the most items in a certain amount of time gets a prize. Y'all, this will work wonders. So now that we have the clutter at bay, once you get all of your clutter taken care of, and I believe in you, you're going to be able to do it. I want to give you some effective strategies to keep the clutter at bay once you've got it decluttered. Number 1, and I love this one. This is one of my favorite ones. Follow the 1 in, 1 out rule. So I employ this technique with my husband and his shoes. The man, I'm not going to say that he just loves shoes because he doesn't have racks and racks and racks of shoes, but he likes them. And so I tell him, okay, if one pair is coming in, then one pair needs to come out. I also use this technique with my girls and their stuffed animals. They love stuffies, as we call them. And when I can see that their collection is getting a little out of control, I have them cut whatever they have in half. Yes, y'all, they have had that many before where I had to have them cut it completely in half. I think my middle daughter at one time gave away 32. And if your math is good, that means she had 64 stuffies. But using this technique will help you maintain some balance and prevent accumulation over time. I have to do this with water bottles. Don't ask me. I don't know what it is. Like, some women love shoes. Some women love purses. Some women love makeup. Well, your girl loves a good water bottle, and for a while there, I was buying a little too many, and I had to cut I had to cut them down, and now I have like 2 or 3. So, number 2, we're going to set up weekly or sometimes even daily decluttering rituals. Now, don't get worried. This isn't a huge thing. Just dedicate a few minutes each day to declutter one small area. Maybe it's like the bathroom counter or your desk. This consistent practice will make it manageable, and it keeps the space organized over time so that you're not just so overwhelmed by all the areas around the house that are cluttered because you're focusing on one little area every single day. And number 3, routinely use the 3-box method that I mentioned earlier. Aim to maybe go through this like 2 or 3 times a year. Or think of it this way. So every time you switch out the clothes for the season, when you're putting away the shorts and the tank tops and you're getting out the sweaters and the coats, do the 3-box method. So as we wrap up this episode, I want y'all to remember something. Decluttering, it's not just about tidying up your space. It's about creating a sanctuary that reflects who you are and what you value. And every small step you take brings you closer to a more organized, peaceful life. So grab that trash bag, set a timer, and dive into the joy of letting go. You truly have the power to transform your space and in turn, your mindset. So start today and watch how a little decluttering can lead to a lot of clarity and inspiration. Let's make space for what truly matters, and let's shift the focus away from all the stuff because you can't take it with you when you go. I am so glad you joined me today for another episode of the Far More Podcast. If you aren't following us on socials, please go do that. We are at Far More Podcast on all the things: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And also, we would love it if you would rate and review our podcast, because the more positive ratings, the more positive ratings we have, the more our podcast reaches the ears of those who need to hear it. So until next time, go grab those boxes and start decluttering, and I will catch y'all next time.